Good afternoon. On behalf of the ISO, I'd like to welcome you to the RC West Oversight Committee public session for the third quarter of 2025. My name is Elena Coppola-Alford, representing ISO Stakeholder Affairs, and I'll be helping facilitate the web conference today. I'm joined by Chris Sanford, our committee chair, John Fitz, Executive Director in Grid Operations, Raja Tapatabula, Director in RC West Operations, Trisha Johnstone, Director in Operational Readiness, Samson Adigan, and Cody Smith, Managers in RC West Operations, for Operations Procedure Control and Operations Compliance. We've got Lucas Rasmussen, Power Systems Technology Engineer in the Market Engineering and Network Application Support Group, and then Ranzu, Senior Advisor in Reliability and Market Operations Engineering. And if anybody else joined as a panelist, I think I might have missed you. We're going to have a couple housekeeping reminders before we get started. This call is being recorded for informational and convenience purposes only. And please request permission from RC West before reprinting any related materials or transcriptions. And the materials related to the RC West Oversight Committee are available on CAISO.com under Products and Services and RC West. You can also get to this presentation and any other related or past materials by going to the event listing on our calendar as well. That's an easy way to get to it. To raise your hand and ask a question, this is actually outdated. We have moved to a newer version of WebEx, so the raise hand icon is back at the bottom of the screen, and we now have closed captioning available. And we have what's called the Inteller Transparency Viewer. If you want to see what other attendees are on this call, you can open that Transparency Viewer and just make sure you refresh as folks join and leave. That doesn't auto refresh. If you dialed in by phone, you can press *3 to get into the question queue. And just a reminder to state your name and affiliation before making your comment or asking your question. And you can send a question in the chat to all panelists. If you need technical assistance during the meeting, you can send a chat to our event producer. Today's event producer is Stacy. So on our agenda for today, same as always, we're starting with committee business with our annual charter review, and then we've got the operations update, working group updates, and then we'll talk about some future agenda items. And here I'm going to hand it over to Chris Sanford, our committee chair. Oh, Chris, you might have a second mute button.
Yeah, that was weird. Every time I clicked it, it clicked back to mute. Anyway, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending this RC Oversight Committee meeting. We can go to the next slide. So for the committee business, annual charter review is on. The red line versions available on the RC portal. Trisha sent out an email, I think last week. Submit changes to ISORC at CAISO.com by October 24th. If changes are minor, we'll do an electronic vote ahead of the Q4 session, Q4 meeting. We'll review the voting results. And I think we're on to whoever's next. I think it's.
I'm going to move over to, I think Raj is covering operations update.
Yep. Thank you. Elena, next slide, please. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Raja Tapatabula, Director, RC West Operations. Here's a quick summary of EA watches and EA 123s this summer. Again, starts from the January 1st, 2025 until now, until end of July. There have been total 12 EA watches and 3 EA3s, and most of this have been in Senasi area this year. We haven't seen any other EAs across the RC West footprint other than the Senasi events. Apart from that, we also had a couple of insecure operating states, and one in PNM area, the other one in Northern California area. Other than that, most of the summer has been relatively, from an operations point of view, relatively mild. Overall, our peak load so far from an RC West footprint point of view reached to around 122K, which is way below the 130K that RC West peak load was back in 2022. So other than that, obviously the fire season has been quite active in California BA, as well as the PAC West and PAC East and BPA. There've been a lot of good coordination that occurred this summer between RC West operators and then the TOPs, and especially near the PAC East SPP footprint. There've been a couple of fires that impacted major transmission lines, and a lot of good coordination between RC West and SPP operators and our TOPs and then SPP TOPs to manage the system without going into EEA. So, which is a good thing. We had a call with SPP yesterday, and they definitely appreciated that support during the fire events this summer. So, appreciate the good coordination. We'll hope that continues, and we can go over the summer. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay. I don't see any hands in the queue and no questions in the chat.
Thank you. Next slide, please, Elena. I think this is Kathy.
Thank you, Raja.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kathy Fernandez with your procedures update. So I have showing here the upcoming changes. We've got RC 100A, the RC desk area responsibility. This is being updated with the RC North desk removed. WWA now merging with GWA, and some minor grammar and punctuation edits. Basically the same thing with RC 120A, removing WWA, removed BHE WWA from RC 210A, combining into GWA. These are all going to be effective on October 1st. I'll be publishing about 9:30. And then we've got an update for RC 540, the WIT administration, that is being updated to align with the changes in Balfour WEC 4. That's going to be effective on October 1st as well. That'll probably go out also on September 30th. We've got RC 610A. That's going to be just for a periodic review with some references updated and some minor formatting and grammar edits. That'll be going out on October 9th. RC 9220, the WEC transfer path 83, that's an annual review, replaced WWA with GWA, and then some minor formatting and grammar, also effective October 1st. RC 9250 will be updated, but that is going to be post-summer. That's the mitigating thermal exceedances in the Dave Johnston area. I believe Sampson is coordinating changes with PAC and SPP, and this will potentially be retired after they finish with their review after the post-summer. RC 9540, monitoring IID system. This is a periodic review with minor format and grammar edits. This is going to be going out on October 9th, along with RC 9550. Same thing, periodic review with a reference included, and some other minor grammar and formatting edits. So again, that's going out on October 9th. I believe that's it for upcoming changes. Are there any questions for this slide?
Okay, there's no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, here we have the recently published. I actually have quite a few because we had quite a big bulk update on July 1st. So we updated the RC 9120, the Oregon Export IROL, that was effective on August 7th. That was due to the Buckley Station temporarily bypassed by BPA, and contingencies related to Buckley Station have been updated throughout the document, as well as limit changes in Appendix C, and then some other minor edits. We updated RC 110, communication protocols, for annual review and some minor edits. RC 320, outage review and coordination, also for a periodic review, which is our every 3 years update. Updated some references and some minor grammar and formatting edits. Also went out on July 31st. RC 420, event reporting. We updated Appendix 1, adding lines 25 and 26 to the table for reporting fires with and without potential reliability impacts, and then some other minor format and grammar edits. We updated RC 610, the SOL methodology procedure, effective 7/31. We removed the previous update to add clarification for less stringent CMC performance. We removed footnote 7 regarding TOP discretion on contacting the RC for post-contingency high voltage exceedances. The footnote is no longer applicable. We updated RC 9260, Path 24, for annual review, also effective 7/31. And then we updated RC 520, loss of monitoring and analysis tools. That was effective 7/24. We removed Section 311, loss of WIT, due to the retirement of INT 20, WEC CRT 4. WR6. The RC no longer has a specific role when WIT fails. We updated several sections to remove the requirement to coordinate tool failures and to request additional personnel support via the, that's just, let's see, that was just a minor update due to org changes, and then some minor formatting and grammar edits, and that was on July 24th. And then we updated RC 640, transmission near-term planning assessments, and RC 660, transmission relay loadability. These are both effective on July 10th for periodic review with minor edits. Any questions for any of these procedure updates?
So Kathy, we did get a question in chat about the RC 0540 changes. There's a BAL4 WEC change related to automatic time error correction, just basically saying that WIT is going to be the official system of record for automatic time error correction in the West. And so there shouldn't be any utility impacts to that unless you actually have changes that you need to make in your configurations for your, EMS systems or WIT or the other systems that you're using for that purpose. So I know California ISOBA, we actually did have some changes that we needed to make, but not because of anything that the RC changed. It was more just to align with the standard.
Thank you, Tricia.
Yeah.
I hadn't even gotten into the weeds of that one yet, so I didn't have that information. Thanks so much. Okay, here's some more updates. We had several procedures that went out for periodic review on July 10th. We had our 670, 670A, 9310, 9520, 9530. Those were all, again, periodic review with minor edits. We had RC 210A and RC 560 that went out for periodic review, minor changes on July 3rd. And then that previous update, actually this is a different one. I'm sorry, the RC 9120, the Oregon Export IROL, effective 7/3, that was for periodic review. And in section 622, we clarified criteria for triggering EMS alarm when the RT-VSA limit is below the study limit, and then some minor reference and formatting grammar edits. We also updated RC 120, our guidelines for RC West IRO 10 data specification on July 1. And are there any questions on this one? I think we have one more following with some more updates from the 1st of July as well. Okay.
I'm not seeing any questions in queue. You know,
okay, thanks, Yelena.
Okay, there's this slide and then there's one more slide.
Oh, there is. Okay, yeah, there was a lot this time and a lot of huge description. So RC 120A, 120B, and 120C, this was all part of that data spec update for July 1. This was annual review and updated RC 120A data request to extreme weather template to remove the NERC Alert 3 language, and we added a reference to EOP 12. Some other details here, I don't want to go through all of that. I know that that was noted for visibility ahead of time, so that should be pretty, you guys should be pretty aware of that one. RC 9000 was also updated on July 1. That's the open loop guideline. We updated section 1, added NWMT and WACM to the responsibilities section. We added section 323, updated the 4th CCMC bullet due to new configuration at Buckley. We updated section 325, adding steps to address scenarios when CAISO or BPA is unable to reduce the Koi-Nowaki path flows using existing TOP operating plans to a level needed to disable the separation scheme in a timely manner. Included the use of the PDCI circulation, PSTs is in RCW and the SPP area, and curtailing parallel paths. Added Nowaki south to north study SOL of 1,000 megawatt for potential open loop condition, and minor formatting and grammar edits. Any questions on any of these? Okay. And
no questions in the queue.
Thank you, Yelena. And then my last one with a few more updates of, oh, this was from the end of June. Okay, RC 100, the RC authority procedure updated for periodic review. Let's see, removed the last sentence from the first paragraph of the statement of authority as it no longer applies due to reorganization, and some reference updates and minor formatting. RC 100A updated for periodic review, along with RC 430A, the EOP 10 plan review checklist. That was for periodic review. We defined GMD in the purpose section, and just for procedure continuity. We updated the operationally affected parties to align with our other plan review checklist procedures. RC 610, the SOL methodology procedure, this was that previous update that we updated again to remove this portion here. RC 630A, the OD WebSmart OMS user manual, updated on June 26th. And then RC 530, communications, systems, and testing, updated on 6/19 for periodic review. Some minor clarifications, and we added a new section for cybersecurity collaboration working group, cybersecurity operations center, call activation test, and then RC 9510, the operating plan for IPP DC bipole contingency procedure, updated also on 6/19 for periodic review. And those were just basic changes for procedure consistency and to align Appendix A with LADWP's 81 Appendix A for summer 2025. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you, Kathy. That was a lot of slides.
Yes,
don't see
it
any
was.
questions, and I'll read them out or I'll send it if I see any others come through. No questions now.
Thank you.
I'm going to, thanks so much, Kathy. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next slide for RC metrics. We've got Lucas and Rand presenting for these.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lucas Rasmussen. I'm a Power Systems Technology Engineer with the Network Applications team. Can we go to the next slide, please? So for residual errors, we've been seeing a consistent downward trend in the past year on the 500 kV level residuals for megawatt measurements. Whereas for the 345 kV level, we've been seeing a slight trend upward. That's still, for the total proportion of residuals that we see, that 345 kV level are still very few, in regard to the 500 kV level, less than half of the 500, in fact. So for the 230 kV levels and below, we've been trending mostly consistent values for the past year. In any case, especially due to the 500 kV level, compared to last year, we've been seeing about a 9% downward trend in total, and most of that lends itself due to a lot of combined factors, including modeling and SCADA review and other investigations by our team. Next slide. For quarter two, April and May continued to have very low trends for the number of average diverged contingencies in RTCA, especially when you compare that total spread to the previous year. We're continuing to solve at a much lower number than previously. And consider for a moment the 10,000 contingencies that are solved every RTCA solution. Compared to June, we've had a large increase, and that's due to the transient runs, which means it only is happening every one run and then disappearing the next. So we're seeing a lot of those transient one run divergent spikes. More investigation is needed through our M&A baseline and RTA meetings to determine the root cause, but I believe we're in the process of kind of determining what that root cause is, and we're making good progress on finding a solution there. So to reiterate, we're trending downward this year for the number of non-converged contingencies, and things are looking up for us. And then I
There's
think
no
we can
hands
go.
currently in queue.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Renzo, Senior Advisor of RMOE Group. For the data accuracy, which is we observe any violation not observed in data but showed up in RTCA, compared to the last quarter or compared to the previous quarters of this year, and then we see a downward trend. But compared to last year, the orange curve, we see similar percentage of the flow gate contingency and flow gate pair not observed in day ahead, but actually show up in real time. The team is actually doing more investigation to find the root cause why we didn't observe the violation with CRTCA in the OPA timeframe. Several factors can drive the differences, such as force outage, outage cancellation, as well as some other factors the team is trying to quantify. And then hopefully in the future RC meetings, we will show more details, and then we'll also work with RC customer to continue to improve our OPA solution quality. Next slide, please.
Hi, this is Kyle Clayton. I'm a senior client representative in the customer experience team. So looking at our city case numbers for Q2, I think I actually want to go back to looking at March, and that's the main outlier we're seeing currently. And looking at the cases submitted there, we saw a higher count in regards to application access, specifically like the entity folders in the RC portal. So that's why we're seeing some higher numbers there for the reasoning behind that data. And then on average for Q2, we're averaging approximately 5 days, business days of time with support for our cases. But I do want to mention we're looking at some enhancements to this report to change, instead of looking at the total number of tickets, more so looking at the categorization of tickets as we're trying to improve the reporting for this group. I'll pass it over to Nick if there's no questions for how the team's looking at metrics enhancements.
Well, there's no questions currently in queue. Hand it over to Nick.
Yeah, good afternoon. I just wanted to mention that we do have an initiative that we're working on this year to make the RC metrics more meaningful and more actionable. I think some of these metrics, when we present them, it's just kind of we're presenting data, but there's no real like actionable type of criteria coming out of it. And I think in order to do that, we'll kind of need to revamp the metrics a little bit, probably get a little bit more granular on them, kind of try to pinpoint where the actual problems are. So just wanted to give a heads up on that effort. Actually, just to kind of give an example, can you go back up a couple slides to the first metric that was shown? So this is just kind of one example of the effort that we're doing. And right now, this chart right now, it just shows you the total megawatt errors, and it's in the millions, right, through the whole entire network. But, you know, it doesn't really tell us where the problem areas are, right, or which areas to focus on. It's too broad, right? So this would be just kind of a classic example. We kind of need to get more granularity, right? Let's see which areas these are in. Let's see maybe which elements have the highest residuals, right? Which ones have the highest percent error. So that's just kind of an example there. And if you can go down one more slide to the non-converged contingencies. Again, this is just a count, right? So the same type of concept. In order to make anything actionable out of there, to focus on, you know, try to improve anything, we need to know actually which contingencies they are, right, and what's causing it, right? Not just a general count. So those are just a couple just quick high-level overviews of kind of the overhaul that we're trying to give to the metrics. And if we can maybe return back to that original slide that we started with. We also do realize that these metrics were developed back in 2019, so I think this is a good chance to also review, you know, we took a stab back then at what we wanted to monitor. Here we are, you know, 5, 6 years later. Are some of the things on there still things that are giving us benefit to monitor? Maybe we want to monitor some new things. Maybe we might want to get rid of some of the other things. So that's part of the effort also. And the second bullet here was kind of like I was saying, if we can present the data in a better way, like adding more granularity to pinpoint where the actual issues are. We want to actually make them more actionable by, you know, including what the acceptable criteria is, right? Instead of just presenting a number like, okay, you know, there were 10% canceled outages or whatever for reference, right? So is that acceptable? Is that where we want to be? Is that too much? Is it not enough? So putting some sort of criteria on there to point out if it's within acceptable ranges. So that's the initiative. We're meeting internally first with all the business units to kind of go through it. We'll brainstorm, come up with some ideas, and then we'll present more to this group. We should have more details to share in the Q4 meeting, and we're looking forward to getting your feedback. So just wanted to make everybody aware of what we're working on there. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Nick. I don't see any hands in queue or any questions in the chat. Thank you so much to everybody, Lucas, Rand, Kyle, and Nick for these metrics and updates. We're going to move over to our working group updates. The first up is, well, they're all Raja. First up is SOL methodology.
Yep, I don't think I have a slide on this, but I will give you a brief update. What is the work that is going on? There's a specific language within the SOL methodology related to performance criteria for credible multiple contingencies and impact on neighboring TOPs. So the task force has been working with, I mean, again, with all the various stakeholders that participate in the call and changing the language to reflect what the group wants. I think they have finalized the language. They have sent out for comments for end of this week. I think once that is done, we need to get the changes implemented into the SOL methodology and make sure that it gets posted as well. I think one of the questions that we are also looking into what kind of do we need an oversight committee meeting? So we'll approval for that. So we're going to discuss later in the executive session on that and move forward with the changes. Any questions? Thank you. I don't see any hands raised. Yeah, the next one, oscillation task force update. This is a new task force that the RC West operations team has been working with the stakeholders to set it up. Here, finally, we have the first meeting scheduled for September 19th next month. There's quite a lot of stakeholders that want to participate in the call, and in fact, our neighboring RCs and WEC is interested in participating in this in this effort. So ultimately, the primary goal, right? We have the tools, we have the PMUs that what we have today. And we want to improve those tools, and obviously there's a lot of different ways you can detect these oscillations, right? So there's a continuous improvement that we need to put it in, and at RC West we have the team to do that, but we need support from the TOPs to look into that and maybe improve what we are doing, right? I think that's the main goal. So again, thresholds, what do you want to call at the end of the day, do we have the right PMUs in the right locations, right? And then there's an opportunity for us to get those PMUs, and do we have the right tools to detect those oscillations, right? I know there's a lot of different TOPs across the RC West. They have their own tools that they monitor. So we want to bring all these different TOPs, all these different expertise together and help us improve the monitoring. And I think not just improve the monitoring, the big thing is identifying the location. That is the, I would call that as a holy grail, right? Identifying the location where this oscillation is coming from. And sometimes that takes a lot of time. And RC West has been developing different tools to actually improve that source location. And we hope we can share those tools in this group, in this task force, and have other ideas that the TOPs can share with us, and we can improve that process and tools. Next slide, please. So these are the current. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, just as far as the PMU and the oscillation detection, I just wanted to highlight, that it is a very valuable tool, but we are dependent on the PMUs across WEC, and not only having them there, but maintaining and repairing when there are issues, because that does begin to degrade the accuracy of the oscillation detection tool. So we are dependent on the TOPs and their PMUs. If we reach out and ask for help on getting a PMU back in service or repaired, just to understand, that it is a critical input to that tool. So just wanted to highlight that.
Thank you very much, John. Appreciate that. So these are the current participants in the call. If anybody on this call, they want to participate in this effort, right? Send an email to isorc@iso.kaiso.com. On top of that, Samson Ardigan, who's our primary rep, as well, along with the other RC West operations team, if you need to reach out to them as well to participate in this call, you can reach out to them. Thank you. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, one more thing, important update. Luckily for us, Daniel Goodrich from BPA volunteered to task force this chair. He's an SME in this oscillations arena, so we have good chair there. And then RC West liaisons is going to be Kalen Hickey and John Marisenko. That they're going to be liaisons along with other RC West operations team that's going to participate in this call. Next month, September 18th, is the first kickoff meeting, and after that, we'll continue to update this RC West Oversight Committee meeting as we find new improvements to the task force. I think that's it on this. Any questions on the oscillation task force? I don't see any hands raised.
Required today. No hands. Yeah, no hands
okay,
and no questions in chat.
Good, thank you. The next one is an update on the FERC 881 ambient adjusted rating, and dynamic line ratings. July 12, 2025 passed, and that was the original FERC Order 881 compliance deadline. We completed, as you guys are aware, overall ISO RCWS has divided this project into multiple tracks, track 1, track 2, and track 3. The track 1 component, it's mainly touching the receiving the ratings from the entities through the ICCP and use them in the RC West real-time applications, EMS and EMNA applications, as well as the HANA application. That process went live on July 2025. That is totally complete. We are working with multiple TOPs, I think roughly 6 TOPs across the RC West footprint right now that have these ratings in their systems, and we are working them to receive the ratings. One of the main reason we are going a little bit slow on this is the tools are ready, but we are doing a lot of checks, end-to-end checks. Our operations team and operation readiness team has been working with the TOPs, with the 6 TOPs, and making sure each component is mapped correctly and tested before actually using them in production. So that's why it's taking a little bit slower. I think it's at the end of the day, this has a wider impact because those ratings are going directly into the RTCA application. So it's better for us to make sure that everything is set up correctly before actually using. So that's where we are under the track 1. And the track 2, this is the main effort on the track 2 is developing the tool, WebLiner tool, to receive the actual 240 hours of look-ahead ratings. That project is complete in the sense the tool is ready, the tool went live. Right now, other than receiving the ratings, it does not send those ratings into any of the downstream applications. And all that downstream applications receiving those look-ahead ratings will be done to the track 3 process. So right now, I think only Idaho is the only entity that is actually sending us those look-ahead ratings, and those are in the WebLiner. Luckily for us, we were able to find a lot of different issues during the testing with the Idaho, and we were able to fix them. So next time other entities add, I think we should be in a better place with respect to completing this ratings into the WebLiner tool. As for the track 3, again, track 3, all the applications that ISO has from a real-time market point of view, from a day-ahead market point of view, and then all the RC West look-ahead reliability applications, the day-ahead OPA, D2, D3 OPA, as well as the short-term outage studies. All those applications will be using this look-ahead ratings, and those will be accomplished until track 3. As you guys are aware, we did go and file an extension at FERC. The extension gave ISO until December 17, 2026 from a compliance point of view. What does that mean, right? So for ISO to finish these tools and make sure that these tools are in production by December 17, 2026. So that's the delayed phased implementation. So I have a next slide that I shared earlier with the Oversight Committee, but I'm going to make sure that everybody on the same page with respect to these compliance deadlines. I know there's different days that have been discussed. One of the main reason is there's a tools will be ready by December 2026, but that doesn't mean the TOPs have to submit the ratings by December 17, 2026. All the TOPs and then ISO PTOs have technically until October 15, 2027 from a compliance point of view. So the tools will be ready, and PTOs, TOPs, if their processes are ready, if their application is ready to send those ratings to us, then at that point we can actually receive ratings and we can actually use those ratings all these different applications, as I mentioned earlier. But if the PTOs or TOPs are not ready to send those ratings, it's fine. They have a compliance deadline until October 15, 2027. Hope that clarifies the confusion with respect to the dates surrounding when is actual compliance deadlines for the TOPs. So for the TOPs and PTOs, it is October 15, 2027 that FERC granted an extension. I'll stop here and see if there's any questions surrounding these dates from any of the stakeholders.
There are no hands or questions. Thank you.
Good. So as I mentioned earlier, part of our obligations trying to make sure all the tools are ready by December 17, 2026. There's different phased in approach that we are taking in. For the real-time markets and the day-ahead market implementation, they are being targeted for Q1, Q2, and all of other applications will be targeted in Q3/Q4 timeframe so that we can fully finish up all those implementation by December 17, 2026. Thank you. Next slide, please. So part of this, since we technically requested an extension until October 15, 2027, we wanted to reach out to all the TOPs across the RC West footprint, as well as our neighboring RCs, to develop a template and make sure that we know exactly when each TOP is going to be ready to send those ratings to us. And one of the main reason is this gives us an opportunity for your neighboring TOPs as well to understand the status of your neighbors, where they are, when they're getting ready, and what kind of impacts you have if you are not ready and your neighbor is actually implementing ahead, so you can contemplate the impacts and prepare for that, right? So on top of that, there are some TOPs that does not fall under the FERC 881 purview. So we wanted to document all that stuff in a template, and we are send out a survey. I think we actually send out survey after the Monday's meeting. We would encourage all the TOPs that receive this survey, please fill this out. This is going to be really critical for us to gather this. And once we collect this information, I know Trisha's plan is to save this somewhere in RC West portal or some other place where everybody has access to, so we can all be in a good place where we know what our neighbors are doing. Trisha, do you want to add anything else on this?
No, you covered it well.
Thank you. Next slide, please. I think that's it from a FERC 881 point of view. And the last one is the ECC expansion effort that we have been undertaking with collaborating with the SPP. Next slide, please. So there's a couple of things. I'm hoping that everybody's aware of this. We did share on this topic at different stakeholder forums. So if there's any questions surrounding this overall effort, what is the purpose of this? Please do reach out to me. Right now, I'm just giving an update where it is. But if there's somebody that is not aware of this, please do reach out to me. I can help address any questions that you have. Right now, there's two different parallel efforts that we have undertaken. One is the benchmarking the ECC expansion effort. SPP and RC West are coordinating on this. We have roughly created 80 different constraints across the Western Interconnect and actually monitoring this in the ECC tool. And these 80 constraints are different things, whereas N-1 constraints, base case constraints, N-2. So ultimately, the purpose of this effort is to fix any of the mapping issues within the ECC tool, or fix the modeling issues within the ECC tool, so we can get to a point where the benchmarking will show the impacts that the ECC tool is calculating on a SOL across any constraint within the Western Interconnect is accurate, right? I think, again, accuracy means different things. It's with this big model, there's never is going to be 0% error. There's always going to be some error. Is it 3% or is it 4%? And that is the effort that we have undertaking. Looking at the data right now, we have big errors. Once we fix and get them to a good place, is it going to be 3% or 4% or 5%? We'll agree upon and make sure that this effort is successful. That is one effort. The other one is this is another. The big thing is now that we have a tool that is calculating the impacts on all the constraints correctly, how do you equitably curtail both tags as well as the BA's generation to load impacts, right? Impacts on this constraint. And that effort, we are working on standardizing that process. That effort right now, we're going through a NASB, and through the NASB effort, late last year, we created a congestion management working group. Again, both SPP and RC West are championing this effort and actually, in fact, leading this effort. That effort right now is in the final stages. It's been the standard is pretty close to be completed. The working group is seeking a second round of informal comments. And I have a link on the next slide that if anybody has not received this through the NASB process, you can, again, you need to have an account to the NASB. You can click on that. It's not a spam. It's the actual link that NASB sent out. So there's an opportunity for you guys to comment out any questions answered on this effort. This is an informal. There's multiple ways. Once the working group approves the paper, approves the standard, it goes to the executive committee at NASB, and there's a formal process. NASB has a formal process that roughly takes 30 days of commenting period. So once we go through that, then the executive committee takes a vote on approving the standard. At that point, it goes on to the next steps. Thank you. It's all you, Elena. I don't see any questions or hands raised.
Yeah, thank you, Raja. Yeah, I don't see any hands and no questions in the chat. Is there anything you want to cover here, Tricia, for as far as future agenda items? Our next, our Q4 meeting is scheduled for November 13th, and you can send topic suggestions for future items to isorc@iso.com. And if you have any public comment, you can go ahead and raise your hand and we will answer your questions. In an effort to help you stay engaged, we do have these blog posts, and they are updated fairly recently. You can also subscribe here with the link to the Energy Matters blog. So with that, I want to thank you for joining today's discussion. As a reminder, this meeting was recorded for informational convenience purposes, and it will be posted in just a few days to the RC West page, and you can get there from the calendar of events. Thank you, Stacy, for being our producer. Thank you to all the presenters, and hope you have a good rest of your day. Stacy, you can close the session.